Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. Ajit Kumar Surana, Assistant Professor in the Department of Physiotherapy, Suresh Gyanviar University. Today, we are discussing about a topic. First of all, the learning objectives of the. These are the learning objectives. First, we recognize the clinical presentation and describe the acute management of the subarachnoid hemorrhage. We recognize the subarachnoid hemorrhage and its clinical presentation, any clinical features in presentation, and we describe the acute management of the subarachnoid hemorrhage. Second, we recognize the clinical presentation and describe the acute management of the meningitis or encephalitis. Now, second one, any condition of the meningitis, encephalitis, we recognize its clinical features or its acute management for the meningitis or for the encephalitis. Now, third one is that we recognize the clinical presentation and describe the acute management of the temporal arthritis. Any problem related to the temporal arthritis we recognize and its clinical features of the temporal arthritis. Now next is that we describe the pathophysiology, its clinical presentation or clinical features, any differential diagnosis, any diagnostic consultation, and the basic management of the headache. Next is that we describe the pathophysiology, any clinical features of the presentation, is differential diagnostic consideration, and the basic management of the central nervous system infections. Now we describe the pathophysiology, clinical presentation, differential diagnostic, and the concentration and the basic management of the brain tumors. Now we differentiate among the clinical symptoms associated with headache and the method of evaluation for further work of the diagnostic. Now we recognize acute hemorrhage and ischemic stroke on the CT of the brain. So these are the learning objectives for the any type of diseases of the clinical neurology, like recognize the clinical presentation and describe the acute management of the subarachnoid type of hemorrhage, recognize the clinical presentation or clinical features and describe the acute management of meningitis or encephalitis like conditions, recognize the clinical presentation and describe the acute management of temporal arthritis conditions. And now we describe the pathophysiology of the disease, its clinical presentation or clinical features, differential diagnostic consideration, and the basic management of the headache-like of conditions. Now we describe the pathophysiology, its clinical presentation or clinical features, its differential or diagnosis, how can we diagnose the disease, and its basic management of the central nervous system infection. Describe the pathophysiology, clinical presentation, and differential diagnostic consideration, and the basic management of the brain tumor-like conditions. Now we differentiate among the clinical syndrome associated with headache and the method of the evaluation for further work of the diagnosis. And now we recognize acute hemorrhage and the ischemic stroke on the CT of the brain. These are the learning objectives of the clinical neurology. Okay, now we are discussing about sleep and sleep disorders. First of all, the definition of sleep. Sleep is a state of unconsciousness in which the brain is relatively more responsive to internal than the external stimuli. This is the definition of sleep. It is defined as a sleep is a state of unconsciousness in which the brain is relatively more responsive to internal than the external stimuli. Now the function of the sleep. Function of the sleep are they have a restorative function, and second one is the homeostatic functions. So sleep is a state of unconsciousness in which the brain is relatively more responsive to internal than the external stimuli. Its functions are the restorative and the homeostatic functions. Now the stages of the sleep. There are mainly two stages of the sleep. First one is the NREM or non-rapid eye movement sleep, and second one is the stage R sleep or rapid eye movement sleep. First is non-REM sleep. It is further divided into progressively deeper stages of the sleep. NREM, it is further divided into the progressively deeper stages of the sleep. First one is the stage 1 or N1 stage, is also called as light sleep. Stage 2 or N2 stage, and stage 3 and N3 stage for deep sleep. Now during NREM or no non-rapid eye movement, physiological functions are most physiological functions are markedly lower than in the wakefulness. During non-eye rapid movement, most physiological functions are markedly lower than in wakefulness. Now, second stage or stage of rapid eye movement sleep, it is characterized by a high level of brain activities and physiological activity levels similar to those in wakefulness. Or rapid eye movement sleep, it is follows non-rapid eye movement sleep and occurs 4 to 5 times during a normal 8-hour sleep period. About 90 minutes after sleep onset, non-rapid eye movement to first rapid eye movement episode of night. The order normally begins N1 to N2, N2 to N3, N3 to N2, and rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement latency of 90 minutes is normal. Shortening of the rapid eye movement latency frequently occurs with orders, depressive disorders, and the narcolepsy. Rapid eye movement period occurs every 90 to 100 minutes during night, and first rapid eye movement shortest of 10 minutes, later 15 to 40 minutes. About 90 minutes after sleep onset, non-rapid eye movements to the first rapid eye movement episode of night. The order normally began N1 to N2, N2 to N3, N3 to N2 rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement latency of 90 minutes is normal. Shortening of the rapid eye movement latency frequently occurs with orders, depressive orders, and the narcolepsy. Rapid eye movement period occurs every 90 to 100 minutes during night. First rapid eye movement shortening of shortest of 10 minutes, later 15 to 40 minutes. Typically, N3 sleep or deep sleep, first third of the night, start in first third of the night. Whereas rapid eye movement sleep, they start at the last third of the night. This can be helpful clinically as This can be helpful clinically as non-rapid eye movement paraphomonias such as sleepwalking typically occurs in the first third of the night with the presence of N3 sleep. So typically N3 sleep, whereas REM sleep, this can be helpful clinically as non-rapid eye movement parasomnias such as sleepwalking typically occurs in the first third of the night with the presence of N3 sleep. This contrasts with rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorders. This contrasts with rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorder, which typically occurs in the last half of the night. Now the stages. In stage 1, we experience a light transition sleep. This is where drowsiness and the sleep begin. In stage 2, more stable sleep occurs. Chemical produced in the brain blocks senses, making it difficult to the woken. In stage 3 is a stage of deep sleep. Growth hormone is released during this stage. Most stage 3 sleep occurs in the first third of the night. Now the rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement sleep revitalize the memory. In this stage, brain activity is very high and intense. Dreaming is likely to the occur. So these are the stages of the sleep. In stage 1, we experience a light transient sleep. This is where drowsiness and sleep begins. In stage 2, more stable sleep occurs. Chemical produced in the brain blocks the sense, making it difficult to be woken. Stage 3 is the deep sleep. Growth hormone is released during this stage. Most stage 3 sleep occurs in the first third of the night, and last stage is rapid eye movement stage. Revitalize the memory in this stage, brain activity is very high and intense. Um, Dreaming is likely to occur. Now the assessment of the sleep. In assessment, first one is the sleep questionnaire, sleep history, sleep diary, history from bed partner, and investigations. So this is the assessment of the sleep. First one is the sleep questionnaire, sleep history, sleep diary, history from bed partner, or investigations. In investigations, we investigate the video recording, EEG, EMG, or polysomnography. These are the investigations for the sleep: video recording, EEG, electroencephalography, EMG, electromyography, and the polysomnography. Now, epidemiology of the sleep disorders: 10.2% are insomnia and 3.2% are hypersomnia. In epidemiology, 10 to 10.2% are insomnia and 3.2% are hypersomnia. Now the causes of the sleep disorders, main causes of the sleep disorder. First one is the aging. Aging is Aging factor is the main cause of the sleep disorders. Second one is the mental and physical, any mental and physical illness of the person. Night shift work, night shift of blindness, genetics, stress, any type of stress. Diet, in diet there is caffeine, alcohol, excessive smoking, medications like antidepressants. These may cause sleep disorders. So in epidemiology, 10.2% insomnia, 3.2% are hypersomnia. Now causes of the sleep disorders are the aging, mental or physical illness, night shift work, blindness, genetics, stress, diet, caffeine. In diet there is a caffeine, high intake of caffeine, high intake of alcohol, excessive smoking, medications, example antidepressants. Now, the classification of these sleep disorders. Sleep disorders are classified into two types. First one is the dysomnia, disorders of the quantity and timing of sleep. Dysomnia is a disorder of quantity and the timing of sleep. Second one is the parasomnias. Parasomnias are the abnormal behaviors during sleep or the transition between sleep and wakefulness. So sleep disorders, they are classified into two types. First one is the dysomnia. Dysomnia means disorders of quantity and the timing of the sleep. Second one is the parasomnia. In parasomnia, they are defined as a abnormal behaviors during sleep or the transition between sleep and wakefulness. Now, first one is the dysomnia. Dysomnia is defined as a disorders of quantity and timing of dysomnia. It is defined as a disorders of the quantity and the timing of sleep. In this, insomnia, hypersomnia, narcolepsy, breathing related sleep disorders, circadian rhythm sleep disorder, dysomnia, NOS, periodic limb movement syndrome, restless syndrome, or Kleine-Levin syndrome may comes in dysomnia, insomnia, hypersomnia, narcolepsy, breathing related sleep disorders, circadian rhythm sleep disorder, dysomnia, NOS. In dysomnia, NOS, there is periodic limb movement syndrome, restless leg syndrome, or Kleine-Levin syndromes may comes. Now first one is the insomnia. Insomnia is defined as a difficulty in initiating or maintaining sleep. Insomnia, it is defined as a difficulty in initiating or maintaining sleep, persistent problem at least 3 days in a week or 1 month. It is defined as initiating or difficulty in initiating or maintaining the sleep. It is persistent problem at least 3 days in a week or 1 month. F is equal to male. Females are more prone to male transient. Second one is the transient insomnia. Transient insomnia occurs at a time of stress or jet lag. Occurs occurs at time of stress or jet lag. Transient insomnia, they occurs at time of stress or jet lag. Jet lag. Short term insomnia. Short term insomnia with personal problem with short-term insomnia with personal problems as illness, bereavement, relationship difficulties, and secondary to excessive use of short-term insomnia. They are secondary to the excessive use of caffeine or alcohol or stimulants. Only 15% patient may have a primary insomnia. So this is all about the short-term insomnia with personal problems as illness, bereavement, relationship difficulties, secondary to excessive use of caffeine or alcohol or stimulants. Only 15% are cause primary insomnia. Now, primary insomnia when chief complaint of non-restorable sleep or difficulty in initiating or maintaining sleep for at least 1 month. When chief complaint of non-restorable sleep or difficulty in initiating or maintaining sleep for at least 1 month, independent of physical and mental disorder. This is all about the primary insomnia. It is defined as a when chief complaint of non-restorable sleep or difficulty in maintaining or initiating sleep for at least 1 month, independent of physical and mental disorder. Now, treatment of the primary insomnia. Treatment of the primary non pharmacological treatment of the insomnia. Pharmacological treatment, first one is the sleep hygiene, cognitive therapy, stimulus control therapy, sleep restriction, progressive muscle relaxation. And in pharmacological treatment of the sleep disorder, there is a dietary supplements like melatonin, L-tryptophan, short-acting benzodiazepines like Z-drugs, low-dose sedative, antidepressant, zolpidem, mirtazapine, long-acting medications like flurazepam, clozapam, other medicines like nefazodone or QTEphene. These are the treatment for the sleep disorder. In non-pharmacological treatment, we use sleep hygiene, cognitive therapy, stimulus control therapy, sleep restriction, progressive muscle relaxation. And for the pharmacological treatment for the sleep disorders are the dietary supplements like melatonin, L-tryptophan, short-acting benzodiazepines, Z-drugs, low-dose sedatives, antidepressants like zolpidem, mirtazapine, long-acting medicines like flurazepam, clozapam, other medicines like nefazodone or QT-effine. Now the next one is the hypersomnia. Hypersomnia, it is defined as an excessive amount of sleep, excessive daytime sleepiness, excessive amount of sleep or excessive daytime sleepiness or sometimes both. Hypersomnia, it is defined as excessive amount of sleep, excessive daytime sleepiness or sometimes both. 3 to 5% people are affected by the hypersomnia, mostly secondary to the loss of nighttime sleep. Mostly secondary to loss of nighttime sleep. The causes of the hypersomnia are insufficient night sleep or pathological sleep. There are two main causes of the hypersomnia. First one is the insufficient night sleep and second one is the pathological sleep. In insufficient night sleep, it is unsatisfactory. Insufficient night sleep is mainly caused due to the unsatisfactory sleep routine, circadian rhythm sleep disorders, frequent parasomnias, chronic physical illness or psychiatric disorders. Now second one is the pathological sleep. It is mainly due to the narcolepsy, obstructive sleep apnea, central nervous system diseases, drug effects or Glennie-Levin syndrome. So this is all about the hypersomnia. Now the primary hypersomnia. Primary hypersomnia when no other cause can be found for excessive somnolence occurring for at least 1 month. Primary hypersomnia means where no other cause can be found for excessive somnolence occurring for at least 1 month. Treatment for the primary hypersomnia are the stimulant drugs or non-sedating SSRI drugs. This is the treatment for the primary hypersomnia, stimulant drugs and non-sedating SSRI drugs. Now the necrolepsy. Necrolepsy, epidemiology of the necrolepsy, age of onset of the necrolepsy is 10 to 20 years or prevalence of the necrolepsy is 0.022 to 0.16% may affect person may affect due to the necrolepsy. Necrolepsy, it is a sleep attack of necrolepsy, represents episodes of irresistible sleepiness leading to 10 to 20 minutes of sleep after the person is fresh, occurs in inappropriate times like talking, eating or during sex. Characteristics, features. So this is all about the necrolepsy. Epidemiology, age of onset is 10 to 20 years, prevalence 0.02 to 0.16%. Sleep attacks of necrolepsy represents episodes of irresistible sleepiness leading to 10 to 20 minutes of sleep after which person is fresh, occurs in inappropriate times. It is occurs in the inappropriate times like talking, eating or during the sex. Now the treatment of the necrolepsy is follow regular routine. For the treatment of the necrolepsy, follow the regular routine. Plant naps, avoid fatigue as it provokes catalepsy. Avoid fatigue as it provokes the catalepsy. Medicines for the treatment of the necrolepsy is dexamphetamine, modafinil, or methylphenidate like Ritalin. For cataplexy, TCAS or SSRI are given. Now the breathing related sleep disorders or obstructive sleep apnea disorders. They are characterized by a disruptions leading to excessive sleepiness or insomnia caused by sleep related breathing disturbance such as apnea, hypoapnea and the oxygen desaturations. So breathing related sleep disorders or the obstructive sleep apnea syndrome, they are characterized by a sleep disruptions leading to the excessive sleepiness or insomnia caused by sleep related breathing disturbance such as apnea, hypoapnea and the oxygen desaturation. Now the epidemiology, 4% present in the male. It is a middle age disease. Overweight, it is more in overweight patients. Treatment of the breathing related sleep disorder, relieving cause of respiratory obstruction. It is relieving cause of respiratory obstruction. Encouraging weight loss, we encourage the patient to lose weight. Continuous positive airway pressure or CPAP may be given to the patient. So this is the treatment for the breathing related sleep disorder, relieving cause of respiratory obstruction or encouraging the patient to lose weight. Continuous positive air pressure or CPAP may be given to the patient. Now, circadian rhythm sleep disorders. There are types of the circadian sleep rhythm sleep disorders. First one is the jet lag type. In jet lag type, symptoms include varying degree of difficulty in initiating or maintain sleep. Jet lag type symptoms include varying degree of difficulty in initiating or the maintain sleep, daytime fatigue, decrements in the daytime alertness and the performance. Resolve without treatment after 2 to 7 days. Jet lag type, it is a in jet lag type symptoms includes varying degree of difficulty. Symptoms may include various degrees of the difficulty in initiating or maintaining sleep, initiating or the maintaining the sleep, daytime fatigue, patient may fatigue during daytime, decrements in the daytime, alertness and the performance, resolve without treatment after 2 to 7 days. Second type is the delayed sleep phase type. Second type is the delayed sleep phase type. In delayed sleep phase type, late appearance of sleep around 2 a.m. It is a late appearance of sleep around 2 a.m. but normal total sleep time and architecture which leads to the sleep onset insomnia and difficulty awakening at desired time. Delayed sleep phase time, it is a late appearance of sleep around 2 a.m. in the night but normal total sleep time and architecture which lead to the sleep onset insomnia and difficulty awakening at desired time. Now next is the shift work type. Shift work type, symptoms of the insomnia or excessive sleepiness. Shift work type in shift work type, symptoms of the insomnia or excessive sleepiness. Adaptation takes 1 to 2 weeks. Adaptation takes 1 to 2 weeks. Now the management of the circadian rhythm sleep disorders. Management of the circadian rhythm sleep disorder management. In first, general measures for the circadian rhythm sleep disorder. General measures are education about sleep nature, education about the sleep nature, stabilizing the good sleep habits, regular sleep and meal times, regular the sleep and the meal times. Second one is in chronotherapy. In chronotherapy, stabilize regular waking time. We stabilize the regular waking times. Third one is the medication. In medications given or the circadian rhythm sleep disorders are the short-acting benzodiazepines like lormetazepam or melatonin. So this is the management of the circadian rhythm sleep disorder. First one is the general measures. In general measures, we educate about sleep nature, stabilizing good sleep habits, regular sleep, and the meal times. In second, in chronotherapy, we stabilize a regular waking time to the patient. And third one is the medication. Medications are given to the patient are the short-acting benzodiazepines like lormetazepam or the melatonin. Now the dysomnia, NOS or Kleine-Levin syndrome. It is characteristic features. First one is the megaphagia, second one is the hyper somnolence, and third one is the sexual disinhibitions. Night terror. Night terror, it is less common than nightmare. Night terror, they are less common than the nightmare. They are more familiar, begins and usually ends in the childhood. Few hours after going to sleep, within stage 3 to 4, non-rapid eye movement. So this is all about the night terror. Night terror, they are the less common than the nightmares. Night terrors are the less common than the nightmares. They are more familiar. They are more familiar. Begins and usually ends in childhood. They are begins and usually ends in the childhood. Few hours after they occur just few hours after going to the sleep within stage 3 to 4 non-rapid eye movement. Now the prevalence of the night terrors, children's, they have a 3% chance of causing night terror. Adults have 1% chance, and boys are prone to uh, more prone than girls to cause night terror. Now the next one is the sleepwalking disorder or the somnambulism. Somnambulism. It is defined as an automatism that occurs during deep sleep. Automatism that occurs during deep non-rapid eye movement sleep, usually in the early part of the night. They are usually in the early part of the night. Now the age of sleepwalking disorder or the somnambulism are the 5 to 12 years of age. 5 to 12 years of age, 17% in the childhood. They occurs in the 17% in the childhood, 4 to 10% in the adults, 4 to 10% in the adults. Familiar features, sit-ups and making repetitive movements or walking with eye open, do not respond to questions, very difficulty in walking, led back to bed or last for few seconds to minute. So this is all about the sleepwalking disorder or somnambulism. automatism that occurs during deep non-rapid eye movement sleep, usually in the early part of the night. Now the age is 5 to 12 years of age. 70% in the 70% chances of sleepwalking disorder in the childhood, or 4 to 10% in the adults. It is a familiar. Now the features of these sleepwalking disorders are the sit up and makes repetitive movements, sit ups and makes the repetitive movements, or walk with eye open. The person may walk with eye open, do not respond to the questions. The person do not respond to the questions. Very difficulty. The patient may have a difficulty in walking, led back to the bed. Led back to the patient may led back to the back led back to the bed. It lasts for few seconds to the minute. It lasts for the few seconds to the minute. Sleepwalking disorder, it lasts for few seconds to the minutes. Now the sleepwalking walking disorder, somnambulism, polysomnography. Diagnosis of the sleepwalking disorder is polysomnography, non-epileptic high voltage and delta waves, non-epileptic high voltage and delta waves. Now the management of the sleepwalking disorder or the somnambulism is the reassurance, protect patient from coming harm, reassurance of the patient, protect the patient from coming harm, relaxation techniques and minimization of the stressors. We start the relaxation techniques and minimization of the stressors. Sleep hygiene measures, medications like small night dose of the benzodiazepines, diazepam 2 to 10 mg, clonazepam 1 to 4 mg, or antidepressant. So sleepwalking disorder or the somnambulism, they are the polysomnography or non-epileptic high voltage delta waves. Now the management for the sleepwalking disorder is, first we reassurance the patient and protect the patient from coming harm, and relaxation, we start the relaxation techniques and minimization of the stressor of the patient. Sleep hygiene measures, in medications, small night dose of the benzodiazepine, we start the small night dose of the benzodiazepines, diazepam 2 to 10 mg, or clonazepam 1 to 4 mg is given to the patient, or the antidepressant may be given to the patient. Now the parasomnia is not otherwise specific. Parasomnia is not otherwise specific. Sleep-related bruxism or tooth griding. Sleep-related bruxism or tooth griding occurs throughout night. Sleep-related bruxism or tooth griding. Grinding, it occurs throughout the night. Treatment for the tooth grinding is dental bite plate and the corrective orthodontic procedure. The treatment for the tooth grinding is dental bite plate and the correcting orthodontic procedure. Second one is the REM or rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorder. Rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorder. It is characterized by episodes of complex, often it is a rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorder. It is characterized by the episodes of complex, often violent behavior and thought to represent a patient acting out his or her dream. Third one is the sleep talking. Sleep talking taking involves few words that are difficulty in distinguish. Sleep talking involves few words that are difficulty to distinguish. Or next one is the sleep related head banging. Sleep related head banging. So these are the parasomnia not specific. First one is the sleep related bruxism or tooth grinding or grinding occurs throughout night. Treatment is dental bite plate and corrective orthodontic procedure. Dental bite plate and the corrective orthodontic procedure. Second one is the rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorders, or it is characterized by episodes of complex, often violent behavior and the thought to represent a patient acting out his or her dreams. Next is the sleep talking. Sleep talking is talking involves few words. In sleep talking, the talking involves the few words that are difficult to the distinguish. They are difficult to identify, or they are difficult to the distinguish. Fourth one is the sleep related head banging. Sleep related head banging. So Now, next is the periodic limb movement syndrome. Periodic limb movement syndrome. Periodic limb movement syndrome is also called as nocturnal myoclonus. Periodic limb movement syndrome. It is also called as the nocturnal myoclonus. It consists of highly stereotyped abrupt construction. It consists periodic limb movement syndrome. It consists of highly stereotyped abrupt contractions of certain leg muscle during sleep. It consists of highly stereotyped abrupt contraction of certain leg muscle during sleep. These include extension of the toes. Periodic limb movement syndrome. These include the extension of the toes as well as flexion of ankle and the knee joints. Periodic limb movement syndrome. These includes the extension of the toes as well as the flexion of ankle and the knee. Patient unaware associated with renal disease. It is associated with the renal disease, iron and vitamin B12 anemia, exacerbated by TCS. Treatment for the periodic limb movement syndrome is benzodiazepines, levodopa, quinine, or rarely opioids. So this is all about the periodic limb movement syndrome. It is also called as the nocturnal myoclonus. It consists of nocturnal myoclonic. It consists of highly stereotyped abrupt contraction of. It consists of the highly stereotyped abrupt contraction of certain leg muscles during the sleep. These include extension of the toes. These includes extension of the toes as well as flexion of ankle and knee. These include the extension of the toes as well as the flexion of the ankle and the toes. Patient is unaware. It is periodic limb movement syndrome. It is associated with renal disease, iron and vitamin B12, anemia exacerbated by TCS. Now the treatment for the periodic limb movement movement syndrome. First one is that we given benzodiazepines or short-acting drugs like benzodiazepines, levodopa, anti-Parkinson drugs, quinine, anti-steroids, or rarely opioids. These are the treatment for the periodic limb movements: benzodiazepines, levodopa, quinine, and rarely opioids. Now the next one is the restless leg syndrome. Restless leg syndrome, it is a distressing and painful condition which can result in severe insomnia and periodic limb movement during sleep. Restless syndrome is a painful, it is a defined as a distressing and painful condition. It is defined as a distressing and the painful condition which can result in severe insomnia. It results which can result in severe insomnia and periodic limb movement during the sleep. It is more common, prevalence 10%. Prevalence, male are more affected than the female. In restless leg syndrome, males are more affected than the females. Exacerbated by the, it is exacerbated or it may be increased by the caffeine, fatigue, or due to the stress. Restless syndrome, it is exacerbated or increased by the caffeine, fatigue, or the stress. It is also called as Ekbom syndrome or creepy crawling. It is also called as the Ekbom syndrome or the creepy crawling. So causes of the restless leg syndrome are the anemia and vitamin B12 deficiency. So this is all about the restless leg syndrome. Restless leg syndrome is defined as a distressing and painful condition which can result in severe insomnia and periodic limb movement during the sleep. It is more common, prevalence is 10%, male are more affected than the females, and it is exacerbated by the use of caffeine, fatigue, or due to the stress. This is also called as Ekbom syndrome or creepy crawling. Now the causes of restless leg syndromes are the anemia and the vitamin B12. Now treatment for the restless leg syndrome is look for anemia and vitamin B12 and treat if first we look for the anemia and vitamin B12 and treat it. Look for the anemia and vitamin B12 and treat it. Clonazepam drugs may be used, L-Dopa, carbidopa, bromocriptine, pergolide, or ropinirole. These are the drugs may be used for the treatment of the restless leg syndrome. Now, next one is the parasomnias. Parasomnias, these are defined as a abnormal behavior or the physiological events occurring in association with sleep. These are the abnormal behavior or physiological events. Parasomnias are the abnormal behavior or physiological events occurring in association with sleep, specific sleep stage or sleep-wake transitions. And parasomnia, there is a nightmares, night terror, sleepwalking. Parasomnias are sleep-related bruxism, rapid eye movement, sleep behavior disorders, sleep talking, sleep-related head banging. So this is all about the parasomnia. They are defined as a abnormal behavior of physiological events. They are defined as a abnormal behavior of the physiological events occurring in the association with the sleep. They are occurring in the association with the sleep specific sleep stage. It is a specific sleep stage or sleep wake transition. In this there is a nightmares, night tremor, sleepwalking or parasomnia, NOS, sleep related bruxism, rapid eye movement or REM, sleep behavior disorder, sleep talking and sleep related head banging. Now the nightmare dream anxiety disorder. Next is the nightmare and the dream anxiety disorder. Nightmare and dream anxiety disorder, they are awakening from they are mainly caused with the awakening from rapid eye movement sleep to the full consciousness with detailed dream recalls. The patient may awakening, the person or patient may be awakening from rapid eye movement to the full consciousness with detailed dream recall. This is called as the nightmares or the dream anxiety disorders. The patient, the person may awakening from the rapid eye movement sleep to the full consciousness with detailed dream recoil. Now the age. Children are more susceptible. Children are 5 to 6 years are more susceptible to cause nightmares or dream anxiety disorder. It is stimulated by frightening experience during the day. Nightmare or dream anxiety disorder, they are stimulated by the frightening experience during the day. Frequent nightmare occurring during period of the anxiety. Frequent nightmare they are occurring during period of the anxiety. Causes of the nightmares are the PTSD, fever, psychotropic drugs or alcohol detoxification. These are the causes of the nightmare or dream anxiety disorder: fever, psychotropic drugs, alcohol intoxications. So this is all about the nightmares and the dream anxiety disorder. It is defined as an awakening from rapid eye movement sleep to the full consciousness with detailed dream recoil. Or the age, children's 5 to 6 years of children, they are more susceptible to cause nightmare or dream anxiety disorder. It in nightmare or dream anxiety disorder, they are mainly stimulated by the frightening experience during the daytimes. The frequent nightmare occurring during period of the anxiety. Frequent nightmare occurs during period of the anxiety. The causes of the nightmares or dream anxiety disorders are the PTSD, fever, psychotropic drugs or alcohol detoxification. Now the night terror. Next is the night terror. Night terror less common than the nightmare. Night terrors, these are less common than the nightmare, more familiar. They are more familiar, begins and usually ends in childhood. They begins and usually ends in the childhood. Few hours after going to the sleep. They comes few hours just after going to the sleep within stage 3 to 4 non-rapid eye movements. It starts within the stage of 3 to 4 non-rapid eye movement. Prevalence of the night terror are the children are 3% affected, adults are 1% affected, and boys are more prone to cause night terror as compared to the girls. So this is all about the night terror. It is less common than the nightmare. It is more familiar, begins and usually ends in. They are begins and usually ends in childhood. They starts few hours after going to the sleep within stage 3 to 4 non-rapid eye movement. Prevalence, children have 3%, adults are 1% more in it is more in the boys as compared to the girls.